Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kat and today I'm doing my September TBR, which just happens to be the Monsterathon 2020 reading challenge. So this is a month-long reading challenge hosted by Cait at Chapter Cait as well as 8 other hosts. I will leave information for that down below. Essentially there are 3 teams, 4 challenges for each. So you have Conspiracies, Haunts, and Beasts. And because I just really like the conspiracy challenges, that's the team that I'm going to go for. So I'm going to be Team Conspiracies. However, I'm going to attempt to complete all 12 prompts because I usually read more than 12 books in a month. And also, many of these books correspond with Latinx authors or themes because September is Latinx History Month. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. This is going to be a speedy TBR video because my husband is a high school teacher and I am filming on his lunch break today because he's teaching from home. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. So first challenge in Conspiracies, Area 51, read a book with mutants or aliens. For this one, I am going to read A Legend of the Future by Agustin de Rojas. So this follows a spaceship crew headed towards Titan, one of Saturn's moons, and then back home. And it says what they find blurs their grasp of reality. So I have been really into Cuban sci-fi. I also really love Yos. So I'm really looking forward to this one, and this also fits for Latinx. Next up is Rearview Mirror, read an indie book. For this, I'm going to go ahead and pick up 77 by Guillermo Saccomanno. So this is published by Open Letter, which is the University of Rochester's nonprofit literary translation press. So it's pretty indie. And this is following a gay high school literature teacher who is teaching in Buenos Aires in 1977 in the darkest days of a dictatorship. So when he realizes that he's not safe because of who he is and his students aren't safe, I think he's going to try and find a safe place for them under this really cruel leader. So this one is brand new. It came in the mail. I haven't even hauled it yet, so this is a cheeky addition to this. Next is Upside Down, read a retelling. For this one, I'm going to go with The Transmigration of Bodies by Yuri, who is a Mexican writer. This is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, only with feuding drug cartels who are stacking up bodies on either side. So I think it's going to be bloody, short, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I don't think I've read Yuri before, although I have read Mexican lit, so we shall see how this goes. So next up is The Bunker, read a book with disability rep. So for this one, I'm going to read Almond by Won-Pyung. This is a South Korean translation, and I am buddy reading this with Alicia from Alicia Reads. So this one, the main character has a brain condition called alexithymia, which makes it hard for him to feel emotions like fear or anger. And he has kind of carved out a life for himself with his family. They really help him get through his day-to-day. But when a tragedy occurs and his family is ripped away from him, he has to learn new ways to cope and make new friends. So I'm really intrigued. I bought this honestly because of the cover and because it has a condition that I have never read about before. So I'm really excited to buddy read this with Alicia. So next up, let's talk about the haunts. So the first challenge is Under the Bed. Read a Black, Indigenous, or person of color you've been sleeping on or who is new to you. So for this one, I'm also going to add in a book which I haven't hauled yet, so it's very cheeky of me. This is Too Much Lip by Melissa Lukashenko. This is very popular and beloved in Australia, but I haven't heard anyone else on YouTube, BookTube talk about this. So new to me, and I've been sleeping on. This is following an Indigenous woman named Carrie Salter. So she avoided her hometown. She left immediately, and she's been trying to stay out of prison. But now her father is dying, and she has to go back to her hometown. And so she gets on her Harley motorcycle and rides back. And it's, I think, the story of her weekend. And it's has super high ratings. It's won the Miles Franklin Literary Award in 2019. I'm really excited about this one, and I really hope that it's great. The next challenge is Neighbor's House. Read something someone else picked. So for this, I'm going to read Real Life by Brandon Taylor. And I am buddy reading this with Siân from Siân Time. And this one is following, I believe it's a weekend in the life of a queer Black man who is going to university in a Midwestern town, and it's about the microaggressions that he experiences just in his day-to-day. It has super high ratings. I've wanted to read it forever, and when I saw that Siân hauled this, I was like, perfect timing. So I really can't wait to get to this one. Next up is Secret Crypt. So read a book that has a mystery element. For this one, I'm going to read The Bad Girl by Mario Vargas Llosa. So while I'm not in love with the title, I am still interested in this book because of the writer, who I've read before and really liked. And this one says, Ricardo is in love with a bad girl. He loves her as a teenager known as Lily in Lima in 1950, but then when he arrives in Chile, he realizes that she has been lying. He loves her next in Paris, but she is a comrade Arlette, an activist en route to Cuba. And then years later, she is Madame Robert Arnault, the wife of a high-ranking UNESCO. Or is she Kuriko, the mistress of a sinister Japanese businessman? He loves her despite it, although he's doomed. So like, I'm really unsure, the mystery element here. Is she a shapeshifter? Is she like a spy that's really good at disguising herself? And why does he say she's a bad girl? Is it because she just doesn't want to be with him? Because then he would be trash. But yeah, so I'm really intrigued. The mystery element here is strong. So this has been on my shelves for a while now, and I've been meaning to get to it, and this is the perfect time. Next up is A Moment of Peace. Read a comfort read. For this one, I'm going to read Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rell and illustrated by Faith Erin Hicks. So I found this yesterday, and if you want information for how I found it, check out my Instagram, because I will be doing a post sometime soon about how I found it. But I've heard nothing but good things about this. It's giving me all of the fall vibes, and it's supposed to be really sweet and endearing. So this seemed perfect for this challenge, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. And the last group is Beasts. The first challenge here is My Swamp, which is to read a cover you like, and I'm going to go with Fly Away for this one. This is a buddy read I'm doing with Jordaline. This is an Australian writer who has written a collection of dark stories, which I think do link up, so they might be more vignettes. But you had me at dark stories and Australian setting. So I'm really looking forward to this one, and this has like one of the most beautiful covers I've seen recently. Next up is Whispering Wood. Read an underhyped book. And for this one, I'm going to read a book that I have never, ever, ever heard anyone talk about anywhere. So this is Dog Boy by Eva Hornung, who is an Australian writer. And this follows a young boy who is abandoned in a city by his parents, and he seeks solace in a local little like dog pack, and they actually raise him. And later on, when he is older, people try to take him back and rehabilitate him, and he has to learn how to be human again. So I think that this just sounds really intriguing. And I've heard no one talk about it, so I'm really looking forward to this one, and I will let you guys know if it's worth picking up. Next is Lair of the Babadook. Read a queer or LGBTQIA+ book that has that rep. So for this one, I have two because I'm nervous about one of them. So the first one here is When the Moon Was Ours by Anna Marie McLemore, who is a non-binary, believe Mexican American, so this counts for Latinx as well. However, okay, so I've tried to read their books before and wasn't such a fan. However, this is a library book I still have out, and the libraries are closed, so I can't return it. So I think that I need to try and read it. And it just sounds wonderful. It has magical realism. It has, I believe, a trans boy main character, and yeah, like a queer love story here, and you know, a girl that grows flowers out of her wrists and a boy who hangs the moon. So it sounds great, but I'm really nervous because I haven't liked their other books. So if this one doesn't go that swimmingly, then I'm going to pick up my other library book, which I can't return, which is Cleanness by Garth Greenwell. This is kind of a follow-up to What Belongs to You. So this is following an ESL teacher in Bulgaria and the kind of red light district gay interactions that the main character has, only this one is following those relationships, how they've progressed right before, I believe, the teacher is leaving the country to go home to America. So I've been hesitant to pick this up. I don't know why. I haven't heard that many people talk about it, so I think that's why I've been nervous. But yes, I'm going to read this one first, and if this one works, then great. And if it doesn't work for me, then I'm going to read Cleanness because I have read Garth Greenwell before and I do know that I really do enjoy his writing. And the last challenge here is Hydra's Hangout. Read a book featuring mythology. So for this one, I'm going to do Storm of Locusts, which is the sequel, the number 2 to Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse. So if you guys haven't heard me just rave about Rebecca Roanhorse, then hello, welcome, I love her. She is an indigenous writer, and in this world we're following a monster killer who is imbued with some of her clan powers, and they make her a really strong and fast killer, basically. And different people in the different clans can have certain powers, but in this world there's so much indigenous mythology where it plays such a heavy role in the plot. So there's gods and goddesses that like interact with humans. Then there are like deities, and then there are spirits, and then there are like human-made monsters. There's so much happening, and it's absolutely wonderful. I listened to the first one on audiobook as we do like our daily walks around our neighborhood, and it was just fabulous. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up the audiobook for the second one, Storm of Locusts, and I just like cannot wait to see what happens. The first one was kind of on a bit of a cliffhanger, and I'm just absolutely pumped to read this. I cannot wait. So that finishes up my TBR for September. There are 12 books, and most of them are physical, so I'm really happy to work my way through my physical TBR shelf because I do have quite a few books and I'm trying to get them down. Let me know which of these books you are interested in picking up down below, or what you're reading for Latinx Heritage Month. If you've made it this far, leave some monster emojis down below to celebrate the Monsterathon. I don't know how I've never heard of this readathon before, but I'm so glad I'm joining it this year. And I'm just really freaking pumped. So that finishes off this video. I hope that you all are doing so well. I wish you all the best and take care of yourselves. Okay, bye.